Grey's Anatomy Season 22, premiere date, cast comebacks and explosive cliffhangers. Grey's Anatomy is officially scrubbing back in for Season 22, premiering October 9, 2025 on ABC, with episodes streaming the next day on Hulu. Renewed earlier this year, the longest-running primetime medical drama is set to deliver high-stakes storytelling, emotional character arcs, and possibly its final chapter. Only 2 cast members are fully confirmed for all episodes, Chandra Wilson and James Pickens Jr., but many fan favorites, including Kevin McKidd, Kim Raver, Camilla Luddington, and Katarina Scorsone, are in talks to return. Ellen Pompeo will continue as narrator and executive producer, appearing in about 7 episodes. Season 21 ended in chaos with a hospital explosion, leaving the fates of several characters, including Dr. Link, Chris Carmack, uncertain. The premiere promises answers while introducing fresh drama, romantic tensions, and emotional callbacks to Grey's iconic disasters. One major storyline centers on Lucas Adams, Derek Shepherd's nephew, whose role may deepen the Shepherd family's legacy and connect to Meredith's story in surprising ways. Meanwhile, Piper Perebo's character, Jenna, could return after her shocking Season 21 hostage crisis arc. But the biggest question remains: is this the end of Grey's Anatomy? While ABC hasn't confirmed a finale, ongoing contract negotiations and storyline shifts suggest the possibility. Fan theories even speculate the show could close with Meredith's Alzheimer's storyline coming full circle. With 18 episodes scheduled, Grey's Anatomy will surpass 450 episodes, cementing its historic run. Whether Season 22 signals the series' conclusion or another reinvention, one thing is certain: after 20 years, Grey Sloan still has fans hooked. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere date, cast comebacks and new cliffhangers. Fans scrub in. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 is officially confirmed for its fall return on October 9, 2025, airing Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time/Pacific Time on ABC and streaming the next day on Hulu. With only 2 cast members fully confirmed so far, negotiations are underway for several others, and rumors about the show's possible end. Season 22 promises major changes for Grey Sloan Memorial. What's coming next? ABC renewed the series in April 2025, continuing its reign as the longest-running medical drama on primetime television. Executive producer Betsy Beers highlights that the show's strength lies in its mix of new personalities, evolving conflicts, and compelling high-stakes medical plots. The first episode alone promises emotional payoff from Season 21's hospital explosion cliffhanger. The Season 21 finale ended with dramatic chaos, most notably the exploding surgical floor, a callback to past Grey's disasters. Showrunner Meg Marinis confirmed it was deliberate, aligning sentimental callbacks with suspenseful new storytelling. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 cast and returning favorites. Though only 2 regulars, Chandra Wilson, Dr. Miranda Bailey, and James Pickens Jr., Dr. Richard Webber, are confirmed to return for all episodes. Many more have deals to return, including Kevin McKidd, Kim Raver, Camilla Luddington, Katarina Scorsone, Jason George, Chris Carmack, Anthony Hill, Alexis Floyd, Harry Shum Jr., Adelaide Kane, and Nico Taro. Ellen Pompeo will remain involved as narrator and executive producer, appearing in approximately 7 episodes, though she isn't a full-time regular. Lucas and the Shepherd family connection. One of the most talked-about storylines involves Lucas Adams, who has been seen by many fans as a potential replacement Derek. Season May 22nd finally addressed his deeper connection to the Shepherd family, which could tie into Meredith Grey's legacy and bring more emotional weight to his arc. Season 21's explosive ending. The Season 21 finale's bombing left many characters' fates up in the air, including fan-favorite Dr. Link, Chris Carmack. In interviews, Carmack remains vague about his return, emphasizing that options are still open. Additionally, Piper Perebo's character, Jenna, the frantic mom behind the hostage crisis, is a wild card. Perebo teased to TV Insider that conversations with writers suggest her escape may not have been final cast reflections. After 20 years on the show, Chandra Wilson admitted to People that she's only watched up through Season 3 and plans to catch up for herself. Her comments underscore the cast's sentimental connection after 2 decades at Grey Sloan. Is Grey's Anatomy ending? A major question on every fan's mind. Will season 22 be the last? While ABC has not officially confirmed an ending, fan theories and insider reports suggest that the show could be moving toward its conclusion. Some believe the current contract negotiations and storyline shifts are laying the groundwork for a final season. And yes, theories are already brewing. Some fans predict the show could end with Meredith developing Alzheimer's and discovering a cure to ultimately use on herself. What lies ahead for Grey's Anatomy Season 22? With new cast shakeups, legacy storylines, and speculation about the series' future, Season 22 is shaping up to be one of the most important in Grey's Anatomy history. Whether it's the beginning of the end or just another reinvention of the hit drama, one thing is clear: Grey's Anatomy still has fans hooked after more than 2 decades. More episodes, more storytelling. Season 22 will consist of 18 episodes and surpass 450 total episodes. Streaming access: catch nightly episodes on ABC, stream the next day on Hulu. International fans may find Season 22 on Disney+. Returning arcs: expect romantic tensions, medical emergencies, and revealing storylines about who survived the explosion. Keep following Buddy TV for exclusive recaps, character breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes from Grey Sloan as Season 22 unfolds. Grey's Anatomy isn't meant to be realistic, but these moments were absurd. Grey's Anatomy is an extraordinary fictional medical drama, but it has featured some oddly absurd moments throughout its run. The hit ABC series premiered in 2005 and featured a serialized storyline with a medical case of the week format. The show follows surgical interns, residents, and physicians as they navigate their personal and professional lives. In Grey's Anatomy Season 21, which aired in 2023 and consisted of 18 episodes, viewers saw Meredith Grey managing her research with her family life, as well as interns like Blue, Simone, and Jules continuing their training. The season concluded with a dramatic moment where a mother used a gun to force the staff to operate on her daughter. The network has already approved Grey's Anatomy Season 22. The new season will premiere on October 9, 2025, and will continue airing until early 2026. It will continue the storyline from the dramatic moment in the Season 21 finale. Several characters are confirmed to return for Season 22, including Bailey, Richard, Owen, Teddy, Amelia, Joe, and others. Meredith will also make occasional appearances on the show. However, Jake Borelli and Midori Francis won't be returning. Fans are eagerly anticipating the progression of Monica and Amelia's romance in Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Meredith and George hooked up. Meredith and George's storyline felt rushed. While Grey's Anatomy is mostly realistic, it has featured a few absurd situations that have left many fans scratching their heads. One of the weirdest moments occurred in an episode where Meredith and George O'Malley got intimate. What made this situation absurd was the fact that the writers had portrayed George as Meredith's loyal best friend. It didn't make sense for them to hook up, but they still did, leaving viewers feeling like the entire storyline was rushed. Many longtime fans believe that the decision to pair Meredith and George in this way was a total misstep. Izzy's romance with Denny's ghost defied all logic. Izzy and Denny's romance turned into a paranormal drama. Meredith and George's brief romance wasn't the only absurd relationship in Grey's Anatomy. The romance between Izzy and Denny Duquette was also illogical. The fact that the writers brought back Denny as a ghost lover and crafted an entire story arc with Izzy led the show into absurd territory. The situation didn't align with the show's realistic vibe, nor was it medically accurate. While the romance had some emotional moments, many viewers who enjoyed the show believed it caused permanent damage to Izzy's character, who was previously known for her sympathetic yet level-headed personality. George joins the army without telling anyone and then dies. George deserved better than a random army plotline. Grey's Anatomy has also included some unexpected plot twists that probably did more harm than good. George's storyline began positively, with him becoming a surgical resident, showcasing true talent in trauma surgery. He also formed strong relationships with other characters. Most viewers expected a positive resolution for George's story, but the writers shocked everyone by concluding his journey in an unexpected way. They showed him joining the army as a surgeon, then getting into an accident that ultimately led to his death. George's final story arc isn't just rushed and anticlimactic, but it's completely absurd. The musical episode made Grey's feel like a completely different show. The bold experiment left many fans cringing. While it's understandable for a long-running show to include unique episodes to break up the monotony, Grey's Anatomy did something unexpected by featuring a musical episode that didn't match the tone of the show. In Season 7, Episode 18, the show felt more like a Broadway audition, standing out from the usual emotional drama of the hospital setting. The episode wasn't well received by many viewers, as it featured doctors singing during surgeries, which was too outlandish for most fans. While some appreciated the creativity, others found the episode weird and cringeworthy. Meredith survives drowning and is back at work within days. Meredith's recovery was unrealistically fast. If there is one thing viewers expect from a show like Grey's Anatomy, it is realism, particularly regarding diagnosis and recovery. While the show has been accurate in that respect, there have been a few absurd moments that left even the most dedicated fans feeling let down. In Season 3, there was a scene where Meredith fell into the bay and drowned. She was clinically dead for a period of time before miraculously surviving. While her survival was believable, her quick recovery was completely unrealistic. Many fans were shocked to see her recover rapidly and perform surgeries shortly after the life-threatening accident. George and Callie's relationship was just awkward. George and Callie's chemistry was missing from the start. George and Callie's relationship was absurd for several reasons. Initially, it seemed plausible for the sweet but insecure George to be dating the strong and confident Callie. However, it soon became clear that their relationship wasn't sustainable in the real world. Unfortunately, instead of orchestrating their breakup, the writers chose to have them move in together and get married in Season 3. As expected, the writers eventually realized their mistake and separated the two characters. George and Callie's relationship was senseless because they lacked chemistry and didn't seem natural. Their relationship and eventual split felt contrived, as if the writers were unsure of how to develop their storyline. Meredith tampered with an FDA-approved clinical trial. Meredith put her emotions above science. A show like Grey's Anatomy should depict how physicians handle various real-world situations. However, there are instances when characters almost act in ways they shouldn't, particularly in such a critical profession. In Season 4, Meredith is tasked with determining who receives the experimental drug and who receives the standard treatment. She becomes emotional about one patient, Adele Weber, Richard's wife, and decides to manipulate the situation so that Adele isn't given the placebo. While Meredith's emotional response is understandable, her actions are unrealistic in that situation. It is out of character for her, especially since such actions could have serious consequences in the real world. No reputable surgeon would intentionally compromise a clinical trial. Doctors commit career-ending crimes and somehow keep their jobs. Grey surgeons break rules but still walk back into the OR. There are also a few things about the show that don't make much sense, pushing it into the absurd category. Most doctors and physicians typically adhere to rules and regulations. However, Grey's Anatomy frequently shows surgeons committing career-ending crimes and still retaining their jobs. Whether it's Meredith tampering with the clinical trial in Season 2, Christina Young performing a secret surgery on Burke's hand, or Richard covering up the mistakes made by his residents, many situations showcase these characters crossing boundaries that would normally result in termination. Despite their actions, they often escape without facing consequences, adding to the absurdity of these situations. Doctors bother to fix patients' personal problems. Grey's doctors constantly play therapist instead of just treating illness. Another issue that bothers many fans is the unrealistic portrayal of surgeons and staff members on the show when they involve themselves in patients' personal lives, trying to solve their individual problems. Instances such as Christina interfering in patient relationships and Meredith offering advice to patients' families depict these characters as more like movie heroes rather than real doctors. While these actions may portray them in a positive light, they also make them seem fake. In reality, most doctors typically don't involve themselves in their patients' personal lives and primarily focus on addressing health-related concerns. They tend to maintain a professional demeanor and avoid drama. Multiple DNR violations happened in Grey's Anatomy. Grey surgeons keep overriding DNRs with no consequences. Violations of the Do Not Resuscitate DNR order throughout Grey's Anatomy also make it less realistic than it should be. In most real-life scenarios, DNR orders are to be respected and followed. Most doctors follow DNR orders not only because it is part of their job, but also because failing to do so could result in legal consequences, trouble, lawsuits, and more. The fact that Grey's Anatomy has featured several instances where characters like Bailey, Christina, and Meredith ignore protocols makes it appear unrealistically absurd. This breaks immersion for Grey's Anatomy viewers who are familiar with the medical field, particularly those knowledgeable about DNR violations. The Grey's Anatomy Role You Forgot Superman star Rachel Brosnahan played. It's not particularly weird that actor Rachel Brosnahan appeared on Grey's Anatomy, largely because the show has been running for so long that quite a lot of people have dropped by for a visit at the fictional Seattle hospital, Grey Sloan Memorial, that serves as the setting for Shonda Rhimes' popular series. Still, Brosnahan's appearance on the popular ABC medical drama was a little while ago, so if you're a little hazy, I'll refresh your memory about her role during the show's 9th season in 2013. First things first. Right now, Brosnahan is a newly minted movie star, thanks to her leading turn as journalist Lois Lane, girlfriend of Clark Kent in James Gunn's massively successful take on Superman. Gunn, if I may say so, cast this movie exceptionally well. Cornsweet is a charming, affable Clark in Superman. His chemistry with Brosnahan, who fleshes out the sometimes flimsy role of Lois, is particularly great, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor might be one of my favorite casting decisions in recent memory. For both Cornsweet and Brosnahan, who have either appeared in smaller projects like Pearl or are mostly known for their television projects, this was a test, and it's safe to say they passed with flying colors based on the movie's seriously impressive box office haul. Okay, now that I've established that Brosnahan is perfectly capable of leading a blockbuster, let's rewind to her role on Grey's Anatomy as Brian Weston, a transgender teenager who struggles against his father while pursuing gender-affirming surgery. Here's everything you need to know about The Face of Change, the Season 9 episode of Grey's Anatomy that prominently features Brosnahan. Rachel Brosnahan's episode of Grey's Anatomy tackles a trans storyline. In The Face of Change, which earns its title as Dr. Alex Karev and Dr. Jackson Avery compete to represent the nearly bankrupt hospital to make it more attractive to potential buyers, introduces Rachel Brosnahan's Brian Weston, who's been seeking gender-affirming surgery for 4 years. At 14 years old, Brian asked Alex, a pediatric surgeon, about getting the surgery but was told to wait until his 18th birthday. In a support group that Alex suggests for transgender teens, Brian meets Jess Matt Pasqua, another trans teen, and the two of them fall in love. Unfortunately, as Brian, now 18, asks Jackson and Alex to perform top surgery on him to remove his breasts, his estranged father Daniel Weston comes to the hospital and is strongly against Brian getting gender-affirming surgery as he's unwilling to let go of Brian's past self. The surgery is a success, and Jess ultimately admits that she emailed Daniel in the hopes that he would come and support his son. Though Daniel leaves the pair with rent money, he also leaves before Brian wakes up, establishing that the two likely won't have a relationship going forward. Grey's Anatomy is definitely not a perfect show by any means, and there's no getting around the fact that The Face of Change features a cisgender actor playing a transgender character. For a much more in-depth and nuanced discussion of this issue than we could have here, you should check out the Netflix documentary Disclosure, Trans Lives on Screen. All the same, the show has long striven to do right by marginalized groups, and that includes the trans community, even when it falls short. Trans actor Alexandra Billings, for example, stars in the show's 3rd season as a trans woman, but also one who ends up developing cancer as a result of the hormones she's taking to aid her transition. The characters around her, perhaps unsurprisingly, similarly talk about her in a way that wouldn't fly at all in 2025. By contrast, the show did much better when introducing trans and non-binary characters like Dr. Casey Parker, trans actor Alex Blue Davis, and Dr. Kai Bartley long after Brosnahan's Brian got most of an episode devoted to his journey. The point being, if you can make your peace with Brosnahan playing a trans character, her episode of Grey's Anatomy makes for a vital and important piece of representation, particularly because she's so good in the role as a young trans man who fights for his surgery and for the chance to be his best self. Despite Daniel, Brian receives the surgery he's wanted for years and gets to be himself with Jess, and at the end of the day, it's just an important story to tell, especially on a massively popular network TV show. After Grey's Anatomy, Rachel Brosnahan's television career took off in a big way. Before scoring the lead role of Lois Lane in Superman, Rachel Brosnahan was, without question, best known for the title role in the Amazon Prime original series, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Created by Gilmore Girls luminary Amy Sherman Palladino, the show opens on Brosnahan's Miriam "Midge" Maisel, a happy stay-at-home mother and wife to Joel Maisel, Michael's agent, who quietly helps Joel write jokes for his struggling stand-up set. Most, if not all, of his jokes are flat-out stolen from Bob Newhart, so to call his attempts struggling is actually pretty kind. When Joel comes home one day and tells Midge that he's leaving her and running away with his secretary, Midge goes absolutely wild in the best way and storms into the downtown club where Joel usually performs his sets. Half-dressed and in a chaotic state, Midge delivers a searing, stunningly good, and extremely raw set about her husband carrying on with his secretary, and even though she does get arrested for public nudity and hauled away by the police as a grand finale, she catches the attention of her future manager, Susie Meyerson, Alex Borstein in the role she was frankly born to play, as well as a fictional version of the real-life comedian Lenny Bruce, Luke Kirby. Ultimately, Midge becomes a world-famous comedian with Susie by her side. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel might have gone on a little too long, although it did end up sticking the landing when it wrapped up in 2023 after 5 seasons, but nobody can argue that Brosnahan isn't absolutely brilliant as Midge. She won 2 Golden Globes and an Emmy for the role, so clearly, this is a popular opinion. If you haven't gotten the chance to check out The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it's absolutely worth watching for Brosnahan's performance, and the pilot is one of the most flawless first outings I've ever seen from a television series, to be honest, and it's streaming on Amazon Prime. Meanwhile, Superman is available to rent or buy on digital streaming platforms and is still in theaters now. I don't want to compete. Grey's Anatomy showrunner addresses the Pitt comparisons. There is no denying that The Pitt is a massive hit on Max. The new medical series has not only raked in impressive numbers on the platform, but it has also been renewed for Season 2 way before Season 1 ends its run. At this stage, comparisons with other medical series are inevitable, and fans immediately think about Grey's Anatomy. In a recent interview with LA Times, the long-running series showrunner Meg Marinis spoke about both shows and how she feels about those comparisons. The Grey's Anatomy showrunner made it clear that, due to the ABC show's pressing schedule, she has to wait for the summer hiatus before she can dive into any show that she feels like watching. Marinis also revealed that, much like us fans, she can't help but feel curious about what different approach The Pitt has to life inside a hospital and what made it stand out. She stated, "There's a couple of things you can't help but think, oh, what kind of stories are they telling? Are they telling cooler stories than we are? I really want to watch The Pitt. I'm waiting until hiatus because I do love medical shows, but I try not to watch them when I'm writing just to stay completely focused on Grey's. I don't want to compete or compare. They're all different. This interest means that people still like medical shows. They're still relevant." What is the difference between The Pitt and Grey's Anatomy? The main difference from The Pitt and Grey's Anatomy is that the entire season of the former takes place in real time. The Max series covers the 15-hour shift of senior resident Dr. Michael Robbie Robinovich, Noah Weil, and he works inside a Pittsburgh hospital's emergency room that is understaffed and underfunded. This makes the stakes go higher and higher as doctors lack the tools to properly save lives. Grey's Anatomy's seasons take place over the course of months, and Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital is rarely underfunded. The series has criticized the U.S.'s healthcare system on occasion, but it's never been the theme of an entire season. Grey's Anatomy has also played around with the concept of real-time before. In the Season 7 episode, Golden Hour, Meredith Ellen Pompeo is in charge of running the ER, and the episode takes place over the course of an hour in which she spends pretty much all the time putting out fires, much like it happens in The Pitt. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.